Dressing, Mr. Harris. Get in open order.
Down one, down two, down three. Down one, down two, down three.
Good.
Foreign student.
Right.
2463 4149, Officer Allen staff.
Well done, Mr. Allen. That was good.
Randall staff.
And that's it. Okay, down you go.
Thank you.
Right, Miss Parkin, you're in 1 platoon and you're in room 114.
Right, thank you.
Your parents?
Yes.
Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to show you to your room where you can put down all your kit.
Yes.
And then at 3 o'clock, we'll come to collect you and take you over for coffee. Right, if you just want to unpack.
Yes.
And at 3 o'clock, we'll be coming over to collect you.
Right.
It's very important that the girls, or women as you call them, do come into the army, because there aren't enough men around to do all the jobs that need to be done in the service. We have quite difficulty recruiting even enough men to fill the strictly male jobs, the combat jobs. And the girls who come in can be a tremendous help in this, because they can do all the jobs that don't require great physical strength. And they're very good at some of the things, much better than the men at some of the things they're required to do. So they definitely have a role to play in the organizational aspect, in some of the administration side of it, and all the back end of the operation jobs that have to be done that needn't have a man who's strong to do them.
We live on Brixton Hill by the prison, which is where my dad works. And the school I went to was a mixed comprehensive school with 1,400 children. I followed up the RAF and found out about a career in the RAF, and then I was talking to Mum and Dad about it and thought that I'd like to find out about the Army and the Navy as well, because it was something I'd never thought about at the time. And so I wrote off to the Navy and the Army, and the Navy hadn't really got all that much to offer the girls. And I went to see the Army, and it all sort of escalated from there, and I've just followed it through as I've done my exams at school.
My father's a company director. My mother used to be a teacher. I've got one sister. It's a very boring sort of family background, really. Went to school, had a year out, effectively from school to university, during which time I worked as a nursing auxiliary. And then I did a 3-year university course at Sheffield. I read English literature.
At the age of 8, I went to boarding school in Dorset, and I stayed there until I was 16. And then I left and did a secretarial course for a year in London and did odd jobs, secretariating. I was never really particularly keen on being a secretary anyway, so I travelled a bit abroad. I went to Kenya in Israel. I've had an army upbringing, I say. My father's in the army. He was in the Blues and Royals. 4 years ago, he was here as commandant. He was then promoted to Lieutenant General and worked in the Ministry of Defence as Director General of Army Training, and he then retired, as I said, last year.
He doesn't actually go through where the girls live, don't worry.
No,
they won't have horses walking around their
accommodation.
accommodation.
No, it was in the, after you left that little bit, you came into the other part of the building.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
walked through there.
Back to the homestone retrieval, lots of hard work.
What are you, short service?
I was dreading it. I had visions of me being kicked up the bum, you know, at the back of the troop, and everyone else is sprinting off at 20 miles an hour.
What about her mum? I mean, here you are, her mum. Do you not mind leaving your daughter in this really rather male environment?
No, because she has gone always to, she went to a comprehensive school, so she's always been used to sort of working. And she's had a Saturday job for 2.5 years at Marks & Spencer's at Marble Arch.
And that I will, as in duty bound, honestly and faithfully defend Her Majesty, her heirs and successors in person, crown and dignity, against all enemies, and will observe and obey all orders of Her Majesty, her heirs and successors, and of the generals and officers set over me.
Okay. Congratulations, you're in.
My life a misery for the next half an hour, Mr. Giles. That's all bouncy, do you understand?
Just stop!
You start working and start getting your brain in gear.
It's a lot more relaxed, actually. I thought it'd be much more running around and we've got to do this and we've got to do that. So it's quite nice, you know, it gives us a chance to settle in. But it's still a very new lifestyle.
A bit gentler than I'd expected for the first day. I thought they might have given us a bit more rigmarole to start with, but it's not been so bad.
One at a time.
It's okay, just follow me up.
Yeah.
Actually, right. Any problems with canister inside?
Is that okay? Yeah,
That's
that one.
fine, yes.
That's better, yeah, much better.
Go like that.
Left, 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 right, left. Swing your arms now. Keep in line with the person directly in front of you.
The dressing is by the right, so glance at the person on your right. And get shoulder to shoulder with her.
Left, 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 right, left. Company! Halt!
Hey, hey,
Panel now to your left, you will see a closer look at Churchill Hall. This is a central lecture hall where a lot of your central lectures, and that is lectures that you have with the SGC and the SMC, will take place. If you now do an about turn, you will see the Victory College. If we all...
Why have you given me these people this morning? I don't deserve it!
We welcome enthusiasm, motivation, concern for others, determination, confidence. We don't like students to be loners, selfish, idle. The qualities of immaturity and lack of confidence and untidiness and various things like that, we feel we can deal with.
Make sure you get into the welt of the boot as well. And then get a little shoe polish on your duster. And then just spray it all over the boot, especially the toe caps and the heel. It's nothing to be sat there for 2 hours at a time, getting a pair of shoes or a pair of boots to a satisfactory polish.
First of all, in here, you would not normally sit on arms of chairs, but there aren't enough chairs for everybody to sit on at the moment. You would not normally sit on the floor. You mustn't sprawl on chairs, sort of legs over one side, head over the other. Do not discuss work, politics, or religion in the mess. That's one of the main rules. No bare legs. You're not supposed to go around with bare legs. You're supposed to wear tights.
I'm not asking you to be old, walk around in tweed jackets and suits and pearls, she says, quickly looking, but I mean, twin sets and pearls. So you don't have to hide your pearls if you've got them. They all look very nice. Not twin set and pearls, but wear young clothes, but please, sophisticated young clothes, smart clothes, okay? Don't anything backless, bottomless, braless, or anything else. All right, we want some nice, sophisticated clothes. Right, this is the boarding school bit, accommodation. Your accommodation's right in the middle of Sandhurst. Horrified a lot of the men that you're in old college anyway. But the accommodation is out of bounds to male students, male officers too, come to that. I'm only saying this because I'm not going to lecture you about morals or anything else, but be aware of the fact that we are under constant scrutiny. This is the first course that will have gone straight the way through Sandhurst, from beginning to end. And people are delighted if they can gossip. And gossip they do. And we'd have somebody saying, oh, yeah, those girls at Sandhurst, it's just like a jolly old boarding school where everyone gets together. It's not going to be like that, is it? No. Right. Thank you very much, ladies. Good night.
What do you do with these?
Oh, God, please help. I don't know this. Okay, report downstairs, Miss West. Good morning, Miss Johnson. Your mirror's very smeary. Can you see all this in the corner here? I can write my name all over it, because it's sorted out. And this mirror.
I don't want dressing gowns hung up on the back of the doors for inspection. Yes, sir. I'll make sure you put it away. Might fall out and go down the stairs. Good morning. The mirror above your sink, Miss Peters, is smeary.
What is it? It's dust. It won't be there tomorrow, will it?
Right, just fall out and go downstairs outside the back door. Morning, Miss Bushell. Your windowsill is filthy. Your sink is disgusting. It's full of grease or something. You can get some vim to that.
It is.
Yes, please. Well, good morning, ladies. An official welcome from me to Sandhurst. And there are one or two other things I want to tell you as well while we're at it. Now, I want to say a word on a thing that applies to you particularly, you girls. It may be difficult while you're here to find the right balance in the mainly male environment of Sandhurst. Don't be frightened by it. We'll try and be kind to you while we're teaching you. And you must realize that we're not trying to teach you to do the same things as we teach the men to do. No way could you begin to do that. But on some things, you can achieve the same standard. And certainly on the previous courses, we've found that having some girls in the seminars and discussion groups has sharpened up the men no end and has made them improve their own pre-period reading and things like that. Well, I'll look to you to sharpen up their intellectual side, even if not their physical side. But don't be too determinedly masculine. You are girls, retain your femininity, and I should tell you that at Dartmouth they have a prize which they give away at the end of the courses to the wren who's done best on the drill square and retained her femininity. Now, there's a thought for all of you.
I think the public definitely has an image of the army. I think, from my personal experience, and my friends seem to think that the army is full of dreadful battle axes in the WIC, which is a totally wrong impression. I mean, you're trained to be a soldier, but you're not at the expense of losing your femininity. I mean, it's very stressed that you are a lady officer.
What is that? What is it? Is that a berry? Is that covered in bits, that berry? Should it be covered in bits? You should know better. Get it sorted out. I never want to see a berry looking in that state again on my parade.
Same with you, Miss Bushell. If you can just about a quarter of an inch down at the front,
It's yellow. It's supposed to be green. Yes, get rid of the yellow. It'll make it green.
About half an inch yours, pull yours down.
It's like something out of Dad's army. Very hard to keep a straight face, but you soon learn to, otherwise you're in big trouble. But it was just really like something off the telly.
Get your heels together at the back. You're not in Dad's army in this nation, you're in the real one. Check yourself for bits. Get one crease in your lightweights at the front and at the back. Do an awful lot more work on your boots, and you and I might get along a little bit better tomorrow morning.
Throughout your course, which, as you know, lasts for 25 weeks, you'll be continually trained and assessed. The staff in Old College and at Sandhurst as a whole is not geared by any pass rate, any failure rate. If you all reach the required standards, you will all pass. And if you all don't reach the required standards, you will all fail. Not that that is very likely, I might add. They will be looking at your leadership qualities and your determination to succeed at Sandhurst and overall in the military environment. In other words, they'll be looking for the square peg in the square hole.
I looked into a lot of things that I could do, and the army was one of them. And the army just offered so much challenge, a lot more than any other jobs, in the chance that you can travel, go different places, just, you know, lead a totally different life.
And I had a lot of friends in the army, and they were talking about their work, and the more they told me, the more interesting it sounded, the more demanding and challenging. And the more I realised that that's what I wanted out of a job.
We all realise how important these girls are in the services nowadays. We know we need them, both to drive the vehicles and on the soldering side and to work the radio sets, and also the officers do these administrative jobs that I talked to you about. We're well aware that without the girls, there wouldn't be enough people in the army to make the thing work. So we're well aware they're needed, and we're quite happy to have them here to give them what training is felt necessary to get them to be a proper part of the army.
Standard! Hey! You're too heavy. It's your leg. You tell it to do something, it will do it. You can pick it up and put it down all day long. And you've got to pick it up with speed. All the time. You must start moving sharper. And you must start using your body. You're not a civilian anymore. Stand still! Don't move unless you're told to, Mom. I can see daylight between your arms and your body. Tuck the elbows in. Pull them in. Midget, you're looking about, the lady at the end of that line. You're not pulling the shoulders back. You've got to jerk them back and emphasise looking up a little bit. How many times have you been in the kitchen or the living room, knitting, or sewing, whatever, somebody's come in and you've got, oh, you start. That's the kind of reaction we want here. You've got to snap into it. Start! That's better. Well done. Squad! Turn! Check your position of attention by feeling. Keep your brain alert. Don't let it fester. What are you doing, hitching your drawers up for? Leave yourself alone. 5-minute break, ladies.
It was quite kind, I thought. Not as horrific as I'd expected.
Just get the feeling that he's a bit reluctant to teach women. Just somehow. Well,
I never thought standing up could be so difficult. That's right. Fairly pleasant, I think, compared to what the boys get.
Yeah.
You are getting worse. Just because you've got your number 2 dress on. Get your hat on now, Mr. Cameron. Get it on. You, Mr. Porritt, are a disease. Understand?
Stop!
Will you start working?
Just stop!
Get your arms going shoulder high and cut the arm away like the remainder. You are being slack, gentlemen. You are being idle.
It hit us quite quickly, the regimentation, I think. And it just took some getting used to. And the long hours, of course, which seemed never-ending at first.
You push yourself constantly. There's no time to relax. And you come to the stage when you don't know what day of the week it is. You're just getting up and going to sleep and getting up to go and sleep and working through the day as well as you can.
I think the biggest shock of all is the absolute lack of privacy you have here. And you're living with 40 other people 24 hours a day, virtually 6.5 days a week. There's actually very little time to get away on your own. And I found that quite difficult to adapt to begin with. Also, the getting up early and having to work quite so late, and the very structured programme for the day. I mean, from university, where it was very much I would work when I wanted to work, and I wouldn't work when I didn't, and I'd get up when I wanted to, and I'd socialise when I wanted to. Here, where it's all laid out for you, it can be quite difficult to adapt to begin with. But I think I've got the hang of it now.
It is a case of continual assessment all the time from the platoon staff sergeant upwards, particularly in the first 5 weeks where the platoon staff sergeant and indeed the platoon commander are with them most of the time, I would say.
Keep it under grass. Stand by. Go! Same again. Body straight, body straight. Come on, I want to see 2 more. 2 more, you can do it.
Obviously, we have identified 1 or 2 problems. It is just a little bit early to say at this stage. And we will continue to help and advise those individuals concerned to the best of our ability. But in the end, we do have to think of the Army's needs as well as the individuals' needs. And if it's better that they should go, then they must.
All the way to the top.
I hate running, I really do, but I've just had to stick in there and get on with it. When I've been absolutely dying by the end of a run, you think, oh, what am I doing, why am I here? But I think that's just a thing while you're actually in pain or whatever. I've never felt that I've wanted to give the course up at all.
I had trouble, I still have trouble bullying my boots. I mean, I've just got disastrous boots. I haven't got the knack still. There definitely is a knack. It just cracked and cracked and cracked. Yes, bullying's another thing, definitely. Up to all hours.
Well, I've managed to crack that one now, actually. I just get the guards to do my boots and shoes for me. I buy from a chocky bar and they're quite happy to do my shoes, so I've not had too many problems on that front just recently. In fact, I don't think I've touched my shoes for about 7 weeks now. I suppose I shouldn't say that.
There's been times like someone's not good at sewing, so I've done her sewing and she's polished my shoes for me, or I've ironed someone's combats while they've been doing something else, or I've helped someone with their tactics and they've helped me with something else. We just all muck in together and get on with it.
Everyone is so prepared to help other people, and I think we've all managed to retain our femininity despite having to wear these ghastly flatties all the time. So I think we've managed to achieve that aim anyway.
You've all seen the seating plan. Right, port. You've all had this explained to you, haven't you? Yes. Oh, good. So you know exactly what you're doing. Which way does it go then, Miss Parkin?
From your right hand to the person on your left hand.
Right. And you just slide it along the table. You don't pick it up and chuck it over. Right. Any questions then on that?
Somebody said that if you're passing it from your right hand to the left, you pull the guest on the left's port as well, do we, even if they're gentlemen and everything?
Well, the gentlemen would normally leave the gentlemen to do their own port.
Really, it's for us, it's a sort of dry run for any sort of regimental dinner nights we're going to have. And we have to go out and meet our guests. Some of us have been allocated guests, and we have to meet them, take them up to our anteroom, give them a drink, circulate for about half an hour, and then recollect our guests, escort them into dinner, and then we have a formal sit-down meal, and you sort of chat, sort of conversational chit-chat here and there, and then afterwards we take our guests upstairs, provide them with a drink, and go into the circulation routine again.
Well, we're not to eat until the Major General starts eating, and to make sure you've got wine and things at hand when the toasts come up, and just to generally use the right knife and fork.
Gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed your dinner. I am Miss Toniarelli, and on behalf of one platoon, I would like to welcome you all to our review. Our first sketch features Miss Bushell And at great expense to the platoon, she has come here tonight to introduce her baby sketch. Yes. I want to be happy, just got to be happy, just want to be happy too. On the good ship, Miss Cole! Miss Cole, look, for the last time, it's not going to be that kind of review. I don't care, Miss Cole, you were told, please, we are going to... No, please. It's not going to be that kind of review. Do you mind? You know. Thank you.
I enjoy drill. To begin with, it was really difficult. The first time I was screamed at, I burst into tears. And I was screamed at for bursting into tears. So I burst into more tears. It sort of got worse and worse. You just got to carry on and just say yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and no excuses, you know.
I love drill. I did from the start. We've had quite a lot of fun with drill. I wish we did a bit more, really.
Saluting! Salute to the left!
Some men regard the women as sort of defiling hallowed ground and make it quite obvious to you. And personally, I think it's a bit much coming from people who've only been here as long as we have. I'll never be any good at drill, and I don't enjoy it. Apparently, I just don't move properly when I'm doing drill. I think my top half is too still and my bottom half moves too much, so I just can't seem to win on it.
Salute! Wake up, Miss Bushell.
Women in the army is a concession to the modern age and women's live in general. I mean, there's no way that a woman can fulfill the task of a man in war. And I think it is a concession because we obviously can't have a lot of women in the army because every man or every person in the army has got to be a soldier first. And that cannot be with a woman because they cannot partake in combat.
If women have abilities and tasks that they can do very well, then why shouldn't they be recruited for those tasks? There are some things that women are very good at. Why not let's use them for those things? We're used because there are some things that they believe we might be good for.
Yeah, but we're all soldiers first. I mean, come the glorious day, if it ever comes, we will all have to put on uniform and equipment and fight.
Not felt right, and I agree with this, that they should be armed and have to go into the attack with combat units. The reason for that is really quite clear. The Israelis tried it, and they found that if, for instance, there's one girl in a tank crew with 3 men, and the girl got wounded, all the men had stopped fighting to look after the girl. Well, that's male nature, if you like. It's innate gallantry, or whatever you care to call it, and one can't obviously have that sort of thing going on in the front line. If your mate gets hurt next to you, you've still got to go on fighting and wait for the medics to come up and sort him out in due course.
I mean, we're quite hypocritical because when it actually comes down to it, we will use women for roles. We just don't like doing it in peacetime. When it comes to wartime, we use women for pilots to move airplanes around, and now we say they can't do it because they aren't good enough. It just, if it comes to the crunch, we will use them.
Right, ladies. Now, Jackie, if we start, in fact, with your first student, at the first progress board at the 5-week point, you said this young lady had, in fact, surprised you, and that she had worked very hard to produce excellent results. She had a warm personality, and her determination had set a good example to the remainder of the platoon. She did admit she found the academic content of the course rather difficult, but she's trying to do her best. And on exercise shakedown, she did very well, and we saw quite a lot of her leadership qualities.
I was relatively pleased, actually. I was told that I was doing better than expected, which was nice to know. I was told that I lacked maturity and confidence, but that those two work together and that they would come in time. But apart from that, I was told to keep up the good work, which I was pleased with.
She just said that they'd like to see me be a bit more dynamic, which I wondered about a little bit, because I'm perhaps one of the more noisy members of the platoon anyway. And I wasn't quite sure about that, but they just wanted to see me being a bit more open in lessons. They felt that perhaps I'd been holding back at times, and they just wanted me to come forward a bit more and take a larger part in lessons, which I've obviously tried to do since then.
We don't mince our words. If there is something wrong, we believe students should be told exactly what is wrong, and we do tell them.
It's been quite hard work today, actually. Don't think any of us have enjoyed it, but it's a good sense of achievement actually getting here. We've basically been doing a navigation and mountain leadership expedition. There's a group, we've all got to carry a certain amount of equipment, including tents, sleeping bags and stoves. And we've been given a route with a number 6 or 7 checkpoints along the route. And we've got to navigate from one checkpoint to the other.
I've injured my foot. There's just no way I can walk any further on it, so the staff sergeant had to leave me here to be rescued and let the rest of the group carry on. Because accidents are expected along the way. It's just one of them things, unfortunately. It just came at a pretty bad time of the week here.
Overall, how do you feel it's been going?
The course been a bit rough lately. Not from my point of view, but my work's been okay. They're pleased with my work and my effort, and how everything's going. My platoon commander doesn't think that my, I think she said charisma is coming over. It's just something between me and her at the moment, and it's going to have to be sorted out.
And again, I saw her on the endurance run, and she just keeps going very steadily.
Captains are very powerful, dangerous people. They have most of the power there, and God help you if you don't get on with them. And the people above go by what they say. So if she says, this girl's useless, they'll just say, OK, Captain so-and-so, fine, we'll go along with you. It was basically just something in my character that she felt she hadn't seen and felt was there but hadn't seen it. So it's just a question of trying to get that over now.
Are you feeling a bit down at the moment?
Here, yes. But I'll be gone soon, so hopefully when I'm rescued I'll be all right. But spending hours in a tent in the middle of Wales on your own isn't exactly my idea of fun.
I can't understand people who pay to come on holidays like this, actually. It's just hard work.
It's great when it's over and done with. It's the actual doing.
Yeah. In 12 hours' time, we'll look back on this and we'll just remember all the funny things that happened and forget all about the cold and the wind and the misery.
It's been totally uncomfortable for the last 2 days, non-stop.
Do you think there is some point to all this?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. It shows what you can cope with. And
it's a practical exercise, and just from the 2 days we've been out,
it's already obvious who are the sort of leaders and who are willing to be led.
I think you learn a lot more doing it like this than sitting in a classroom and being told what to do.
You learn about yourself and you learn about other people as well. And you learn how you work in certain situations. We've both got the ability to carry on going.
Yeah.
Even when it's
We
hard.
set a task, we just plod on and carry on and do it until it's done. Hopefully with a sense of humour, but not always. You know, you can very easily just get a bit grumpy and stomp away.
Oh, I think I've got a great sense of humour.
I am going to clean this mug out and get us some coffee. Right. That is grotty.
I'm going to 29 Signal Regiment in Berlin, which is quite a good posting, actually. Best in Germany, I think.
I'm going to be platoon commander, or balloon banana as we call them, for 29 Company WRAC in Rheindaland. It means I'm going to be in charge of a lot of girls between 60 and 80. And I can imagine it will be a very demanding job, i.e. there'll be a lot to do. But that suits me fine because I'll be kept busy.
It's never easy to soften a blow because no one wants to feel they've been a failure and no one wants to feel they've failed at anything. I started off by reminding her of the various things I've said to her on several interviews since the course began. And basically, I said that I felt she wasn't yet ready to go out in a position of responsibility as a WRAC officer. Her problem is immaturity. Some people mature more slowly than others, and she is actually maturing rather slowly. And she's had all the guidance and encouragement that the DS, the directing staff, can give.
They are, I think, well, they keep mentioning, every interview I've had, they always said to me, well, don't think we're victimising you because of where you're from. And yet I never say anything about it, so why should they mention it? But, I mean, that's the way it goes, I suppose.
I feel she needs to go away and mature in a different environment, develop her own personality, and I would be happy to see her back in 2 or 3 years' time.
I honestly feel that it won't make that much difference 2 or 3 years to me because I feel I'm mature and a lot more mature than some people here. So, you know, it's obviously just lack of communication or something or other. But no, I wouldn't come back. No way. I'm just glad to see the back of the place. I won't lie awake at night thinking about it or anything. No, I'll be quite glad.
Make sure you get it nicely onto the shoulder.
It's our number 2 dress uniform, which we wear on special occasions, and which we'll be wearing for the first time officially on our Sovereign's Parade. It feels fantastic, and it looks very, very smart. You just feel very special when you're wearing it. Maybe it's just because at the moment, you know, it's something to aim for.
Nice. Comfortable?
Thanks, very comfortable.
Pleased.
Yes, very pleased indeed.
On the night of the commissioning ball, you have your pips covered up. And then when it comes to 12 o'clock, you're officially commissioned. So you take the strip off your pips, and there you are, an officer. Yay.
I didn't feel that they'd been honest with me, and they'd never been specific, and it was all very roundabout and just not very relevant, I didn't feel, and I didn't feel what they had to say to me when they did was at all justified. So I was just angry, really, at the time. I've got a good job now, and a job where I'll get on according to merit and not because of anything else.
The Sash of Honour is awarded today to Officer Cadet N.G.H. Vickers, who is to be commissioned in the Women's Royal Army Corps.
We did have a lot of fun and a good laugh and things, so it wouldn't be a bad memory of the army, it would be the ones that put the boot in, as far as I was concerned, that I feel bad towards. It's something in the past now, really. Something I learnt a lot from, but I've got the future to think about now.